John Faust, and I am generously his co-host. And we
I
are
think you have
interested.
that backwards, but that's okay.
Well, I tell you what, John, I am happy to be co-hosts together.
Yeah, I'm good with co-hosts together.
And really, what we're looking to accomplish is to try and talk about our past and our current and our future. If it allows somebody to learn a little something from our mistakes or our challenges or our victories, we're happy to discuss and talk about that. As always, you can leave comments on either one of our Facebook pages, Instagram pages. The show has a Facebook page. You can leave a question there, and we will address any questions that we get from the previous week.
Correct.
And I got a people, they just absolutely amaze me. And I got a message from a listener from another show that was talking about a person that needed help, and this person reached out to me as often happens, and he was a homeless person and had some dogs with him or whatever, and this person reached out to me to see if I could help in any way. And I'll actually share this post that I put up to the Old Souls page right now, and that way everybody can see it. But I've got people already asking. I'm getting a little choked up. Asking how they can help and do I have Venmo, and I absolutely get to you guys after the show. But what a wonderful world we live in. I was donating $500 to this gentleman who's in the cold. He was barefooted, I guess, and had a couple of dogs he was taking care of, and this person had stopped and wanted to see what he wanted. And apparently, I don't know if it's a veteran or not, but this other person is involved in some of those things. And he asked for a tent and some shoes. And we're going to try and do a little bit better. This person gets paid once a month with SSI, and that lasts for 2 weeks. So they can stay in this motel for 2 weeks, and then they're outside for the other 2 weeks. And so it's below freezing here in Oklahoma, and I know what it's really like in Colorado. I mean, you guys are really dealing with it.
Yeah, but you know what? To me, it is so much colder in Oklahoma when it gets cold.
It's icy, right, John?
It is cold here.
Yeah.
That humidity is
That's brutal. Right.
It's just brutal. So let me ask you this, Mark. What size shoes does this guy wear?
I don't know, but I'll get some information.
Yeah, I think get some information in regards to is it just him and his dog, or him and
2 dogs?
You know what? Get some personal information and message me, like what size shirt does he wear? Just some of the more personal things, and let me see what I can do on this end.
I will do it, John. And that it does not surprise me at all that you're excited about doing that. And I just kind of made that the topic of the show. And it's just kind of like we're God directed. and that things
That's for
happen.
sure.
And one of the other things that I had happen last week is we're buying a bunch of these older historic buildings in small town Oklahoma. And I got together with our veterans organization, and apparently there's some help for some of these veterans. They get first and last month's rent, and they get application assistance or whatever. But I guess there's a different program that if we talk to some of these vets, they get half of their rent for life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so one of the things that we're dealing with in Denver is we've got veterans that are getting $1,200, $1,300 a month. And even with assistance, they can't afford a place to live for that amount of money of their whole stipend.
Yeah.
And so the lady that I was talking to at the VA said that we're getting a lot of veterans from couple of these different places that are more expensive they're moving to Oklahoma. Because in Denver, a single bedroom place is $2,200 and their benefit is $1,300.
Oh.
In Oklahoma, we can get them a really nice place for $400 or $500, and then they've got another $400 or $500 to meet their other needs. And I think we're going to make a difference in some lives down there in those little Oklahoma towns.
And that is so cool. And I have a modest townhome that I bought a long time ago. It's nothing out of the ordinary. It's been a great place for me. It's not as good as it once was, simply because me and stairs don't get along all that well anymore. But I have what I need on the lower level, and I can go up and down. And anytime I think about what I have and what I pay for my mortgage, even with an HOA, and then I hear somebody talk about renting a place in Denver, and they tell me, and I go, how much? What? And it is, yeah, it's out of hand. Well, that's really cool. And I wonder, and maybe you've probably already thought of this, but I wonder if it's feasible to purchase a home, a lower end, mid-level type of home, and set it up in a manner that 4 vets could share the house. 2 or 3 bedroom home, a communal kitchen. And I don't know, maybe personalities would not allow that to happen.
What wouldn't allow it to happen?
Personalities.
Well, I don't know about that, but
you know what I'm saying.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to actually make inroads into these small Oklahoma towns where things can be done.
Yeah.
And the thing that we want to do, and our organization that we work with right now, we're trying to help veterans, and there's a lot of people that need help, but we're trying to help veterans. And what we want to do is we want to buy houses, and we also want to buy historic buildings in some of these small towns that have, gone out of business.
Right.
We bought a bank, we bought a Masonic hall, and as we rent them out, and this is a for-profit thing, what we're doing. we buy the buildings, we rehabilitate them, and then we rent them out. However, we want to do well by doing good, or do good by doing well.
I know what you
And
mean.
some of the things that we can do survive both of the things. You know, we're making money for the real estate investors, but they're also, you know, helping the veterans, you know, get into the places. But as we get a critical mass going in these different towns, we will be able to have a real estate company buy an asset and then set up a training and education center for the veterans who are, you know, trying to get restarted, or there'll be money for starting businesses, lawn care, painting, whatever it is, and give these guys a chance to do other things. Like for instance, the bank that we bought is in a small town called Oilton, and they recently lost their grocery store. Well, I want to do a cloud grocery store and operate it out of the bank, and have the veterans that live in the bank run the grocery store. And we create an app that the townspeople can just say, put in their order on Monday, and Thursday they go by and pick it up.
I think that's fantastic.
And the food distributors come down and make a delivery once a week.
I think that's fantastic.
It's whatever the people order. So they don't have to drive half an hour to some other store to get spaghetti or green beans or whatever. We'll carry things that are not perishable, because we're not going to be set up for freezer service or whatever.
Right.
But, you know, we'll have things on the menu and they can order them and pick them up. And that's one of our experiments that we're looking for as we revitalize some of these smaller towns. But hopefully,
and I like the other thing you said, that these guys certainly would be capable of mowing a yard, or
absolutely,
or hopefully outside painting, or just some of the other smaller things, being able to give them an opportunity to do that, and earn some money. That's a great idea. I like it.
Well, and these communities, they have, you know, elderly folks and people that need help in the community. And you know, to me, the communication is key. You know, if the people in the community know that there's a place where people are getting educated and vetted.
I'm going to turn this light down. Okay.
You know, they're more likely to know that they're having an impact on somebody's life, and, you know, buy services from those people that are in the community.
Yep.
I need my gutters cleaned. I need, you know, and if we communicate that what we're looking to get accomplished, you know, there's a lot of these veterans that, you know, they know how to fix cars, they know how to do all this stuff. And I've got, you know, a division of what we're doing, reaching out into the community. Like, there is a pretty big t-shirt manufacturer, and you and I were talking backstage before we went on the show, that you're doing some projects that are involving t-shirts, and you have your own vendor and all that other stuff. The guy I know in Oilton that runs the fan shop, they do a really interesting thing that I really love how they do it. It's a membership, and you sign up for a membership, and every 2 weeks or every 2 months or every month or whatever, depending on what membership you have, you get the t-shirt of the month for the team that you cheer for. You know, so OU, OSU, and you kind of get the monthly or bi-monthly or twice, 6 times a year shirt that happens. and you were making a poker player shirt. And I think that we should have you talk to Kevin Wright. He's the mayor of Jennings down there. But he reaches out to me and employs some of these people that were getting settled to work in the t-shirt shop before they go do something else. And it's a pretty big operation. They've got hats and embroidery things and all that stuff. And if you had like funny sayings on your t-shirt design and had Kevin do a subscription, that would be another way for you to sell those rather than the on-demand deal. My kids got me a t-shirt for Christmas that said, I don't even fold my laundry, and it has a 7 and a 2 on it.
You know, a good friend of mine in Omaha is the owner of the Omaha Shirt Company.
Oh, there you go.
And for years, him and his partners did all the shirts for the College World Series. So you can imagine.
Yeah,
how big that was. And so I was trying to kind of do something through them, but they don't really do the, hey, we'll take the order, take care of it. They don't really do that. But we were just
print on demand.
Right. And but he was pretty funny because he's on board with what I'm doing. I'm going to get him a shirt just like I am you. And we were laughing, and he goes, John, I'm just telling you, if you have a good idea, he said, you just got to run with it. It may not last forever. But he said one of the most, and this did kind of make me laugh when he said it. He goes, yeah, one of the most successful t-shirts I ever sold was I've fallen and I can't reach my beer.
Yes.
And he goes, you have no idea how many of those I sold.
Isn't
I was
that crazy?
Yeah. And when I was talking to this guy today, and we've talked about this, it's paralysis through analysis. And some of the things that's prevented me from jumping into things in the past, and probably to some degree now, is you need to think about what you're doing, but you need to take steps to make it work before you try to solve all of the problems that may come from whatever your project is. And when I was talking to my graphics guy today, he's really good, and I really like talking to him. And he said, I'm going to tell you one thing. He says, this is pretty good. He says, but so be prepared, because when you start to push this, if something is good, people are going to steal it.
Absolutely.
I said, I've thought about that, and I was trying to figure out ways to make that stop. Then I finally just thought, he goes, what is it? Imitation is the biggest form of flattery or whatever. He goes, if somebody thinks it's good enough to steal, says you've got something good. And if I come up with something and it has a run and it works, and it works for X amount of time, nothing is forever. And there you go. So, it'll be interesting.
I had that happen to me quite a bit in the computer business. I mean, you just can't have an original thought without somebody, taking it from you.
Yeah. And I that's why I just finally had to say, I have to make the motions. I have to do the work. I have to get it started. And then I'll deal with the problems when they come up. So,
You know, and a lot of times you just absolutely need to execute before you perfect. I mean, that's been my last half of my life. Is I used to have a business partner at one time that was so anal retentive that you couldn't even do anything. You know, and it had to be figured out, and every negative thing had to be gone through. And it's
right.
like, dude, let's just do it. You know, and if it doesn't work out, let's have 5 or 6 other things or 20 other things that we're trying to do. And you know, sometimes you just need to fail a little bit to come to the right thing. You know,
I had this discussion the other night with someone that, with whom I sincerely respect her opinion, but it was just kind of like that. And she was thinking out here and she was coming up with all of the problems and all of this. And I just had to go, whoa, stop. I am a walk before I run person. I just need to get it started. Then we can tackle more of the future. I just need to see, is there a future? I mean,
yes.
not all my ideas are good, but some of them are. So we'll see.
Well, and I'm just trying to send out these Venmos. These people are so generous, you know, and they're offering to send this guy some money.
Now, this information. Sorry, this to anybody that's listening. I apologize. Is this on our Old Souls page?
Yes, I posted it on mine, and now it's on the Old Souls.
Okay.
And I'm responding to some of the people by DM, and I will.
I'll take a look at it, and I think I can share from our page.
Absolutely.
So I will take a look at it, and I will see about sharing it onto my personal page as well.
It never ceases to amaze me how generous people are, and you just throw it out there, and people are willing to help. You know.
Yep.
You remember John Zuby? His wife was one of the first people that said, "Hey, how can I help?" You know.
Yeah, that's a tough story.
Yes.
That's a tough story.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think that people are willing to help when they're dealing with someone that they know is not scamming them. Look, it's my theme song.
Hey, brother.
Hey, Mark. Hey, I'm getting out of Norman just a little bit late. You gonna be there?
Yeah, it works out perfect. I'm in the middle of a podcast, so when I'm done, just come on over. I'll be done.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you.
But I think the messenger has something to do with it. I try not to abuse my privileges. And so
I understand what you're saying with that. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, you know what, Mark, it goes back to when I was running a lot of racquetball tournaments. I tried hard not to abuse my privileges. And I had people like Lee Earnhardt at Chambers Wine and Liquor that if I called up and said, Lee, I got a tournament. Can I get some beer or whatever? It's like, it's a no-brainer. The answer would be, so when's your tournament? Just give me the date and tell me what you need. And when I ran a tournament that I couldn't have beer because it was like in a Y or it was something like that, I would still put Chambers and Wine and Liquor on the tournament shirt, even though they weren't giving me anything. because I knew when I really needed something, they would always step up. You most always stepped up with Action Computers and Old Chicago.
You know what? I remember Old Chicago joining us back in those days. That was a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were good. They were good folks.
Scott Perel.
You know what else they did? That Old Chicago. He would, behind the scenes, without anybody else knowing anything about it, people that I was mentoring that really needed a job, and they were at a different stage in life, and I couldn't hire them at the tech company for one reason or the other. He would get them jobs at the restaurant. We worked on fitting people in to
Now,
different places.
Which Old Chicago did you work with?
Colorado Boulevard.
Yeah, see, and my guy ran the one on Broadway, kind of near C470.
Okay.
And his name is Scott Perel. And Scott was still a great guy. And he's no longer with Old Chicago. And he's like somewhere in the middle of Nebraska. And I think he's managing a restaurant there. But I think that the moral to the story is, if you don't go to the well all that often, and then you speak up about someone in need, be it a business thing, but if it's a person, it's hard times, it's somebody's homeless, it's whatever, and you don't reach out all that often, I think people are very open to trying to pitch in, because they know if it's important to you, then it's probably important to them as well. So,
well, and one of the times that it shows how important it is, what you're saying is, if we get together in the act of doing it together, for some reason, there's a fire starter, like you're doing what you're doing, and then the other people are getting involved. And just the fact that other people are getting involved with it, there's a community that gets built. And it's like, oh, I gave a certain amount, and I helped, and I bought some pants, and I wanted to do this with that. And the feeling of really helping somebody beyond the writing the check. You get your hands in there and help somebody. That's important for the other givers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people say, oh, do it in silent and do it behind the scenes. Nobody needs to see it. Well, sometimes you're not only helping the person that needs help, but it's the other people that you're drawing in and saying, hey, maybe you need some giving in your life. We're going to buy this guy some hamburgers, and one of the other person's going to get him a hat or whatever. And you think, God, I felt pretty good that I did that.
Yep. No, I'm with you. No.
Now, what I'm hoping happens to this guy is, I don't have resources to give him somewhere to live 2 weeks out of the month. But maybe if we connect to this guy, maybe there's somebody out there with some kind of a program that can work on helping this guy. Whatever it is, whatever the reason is that he's sleeping outside with his 2 dogs. What happened? I don't know. But hopefully, as we build some of our programs, we'd like to have some tiny living houses and, some stuff like that.
So I know you're probably kind of vetting out a little bit the people that you're helping, so that you know that they truly are in need. Because that's, I think I'm a decent guy, and I try to help people. And I've had this conversation before. One of the biggest slaps in the face I ever got was when I was with the Colorado Athletic Club in Aurora, and I was running a tournament, and I think it was a Radisson at the time, was right next door, and we had kind of some guests there could go to the club, and I knew the chef in the restaurant, and we'd do a tournament, and they'd be a sponsor, and I'd get food. And so one day I was at Parker Road and 225 in Aurora, and there were some homeless guys on the corner, and I saw them, and I pulled over to go to the club, and for whatever reason decided, I'm going to stop in at the Radisson and go and talk to the chef. Well, when I pulled into the parking lot, I saw the homeless guys, and they were kind of walking back through the parking lot. And I don't know why, but I decided to follow them back. And at this time, I'm working pretty hard, and I'm driving a 95 Explorer Sport, no big deal. And I decided to kind of follow them around. And they went back in the back and got in a brand new Cadillac Escalade. Ruined me for a while. Because then every time I looked at somebody, I'm thinking, are you for real?
John, and I get it. And, it's easy to be.
I'm not cynical, but that's
it's easy to get
cynical.
that. It's easy to get that way.
Yeah. I mean, if you're an amputee and you're in a wheelchair and you're at the corner, I'm pretty positive you're an amputee in a wheelchair at the corner. But it just, for a while, I would still help anybody on anything, but it just made me look at that completely different. So that's my point, is the person you're helping, he needs help. Your friend knows he needs help. We know he's a good guy. He's got 2 dogs. So let's help him.
And the thing that we really need to do is just all get together and do our part. As far as we have, abilities with the organization that I do the giving with, we pretty much let somebody else vet the worthiness of the person, and then, if something comes through and says, hey, like the Buddy Up Foundation is one of our partners in crime. And we give dogs to veterans that have been traumatized. And
cool. I like that.
Professionally trained dogs. And I will get a link to the Buddy Up Foundation and Texas Canine University in our Facebook page underneath this live. But we get a dog to a veteran. And as sick as this might sound, the guys might leave everyone else behind because they're all taken care of. And then they do the 22 thing. But if they have a dog to take care of, the dog needs them.
Oh, absolutely.
And it keeps them around for a while. And let me turn this off. It keeps them around to take care of this dog. And, it's a therapy dog. It's an anxiety dog, a PST dog. And it's an expensive dog to just give away. But it's a program that's really helping. And we don't vet any of the guys that get a dog. Somebody else does that. But we get to facilitate, what's happening.
I love that.
With the dogs. Yeah.
I love that. I think that, and we're probably on the homeward stretch here today. That should be a topic for another time, because the value of pets to certain individuals, and I count myself as one, the value of a pet is huge. You may not.
I will reach out to them and see if they'll come on the show with us. They support some of the other podcasts that we do.
That would be great. I would like to know more.
Well, I think our audience would like that, to hear what we're doing.
Yeah.
And I'll get the appropriate link together for them, Texas Canine University, and I'll get either one or two of the principals from that business on with us, and it'll be interesting. You know, you might even be able to get somebody that has benefited from a dog.
That would even be better.
Yeah, that was.
Well, that would be equally as good.
Yes.
Okay, Mark, I think we should cut this one today.
John,
Because last time we did the extended version. So
I love you, and
Yeah.
there isn't a damn thing you can do about that. And
I appreciate it, Mark.
I appreciate you, and I will try to make that guest next week, next
Okay.
Friday, and we'll try to get them on. So,
Sounds like a deal.
all right,
Okay, and I
everybody.
may talk to you on Sunday. And you take care. Great show. Thank you, everybody that is watching. And hopefully at some point we can get a little larger audience. We don't do groundbreaking things for sure, but we try to do things that hopefully somewhere, somehow help someone. And so, Mark, thanks. Take care.
All right, buddy.
Okay. See you later.
John Faust, everybody, and we're trying to help as many people as we can.